name is Mike Wisdella. I am your Master of Ceremonies tonight, and I promise to have you out here by 11 o'clock. So I'll have you out. The goal is 8:30. Does that sound better? All right, let's do 8:30. On behalf of the President and the Board of Directors of the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame, I'd like to welcome you to our 31st annual banquet and indoctrination ceremony of all our great two teams, our President Award winner, and all of our inductees tonight. We have another great group of people going into the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. So it's going to be an exciting evening. We got a great dinner planned for you. So please sit back and enjoy the ceremonies. To start us off tonight, I would like to bring up Bay County Commissioner Vaughn Begic and do our Bay County Proclamation. And Vaughn just got re-elected. Congratulations, Vaughn. And he was a past board member here on the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. We got a rant for you. Yes.
Fall down.
No, sir.
So in the past, I've read this word to word. I'm gonna ad lib a little bit. This is from the Bay County Board of Commissioners. There's 7 of us, and way back when, I think the commissioners sponsored, or we gave some money to the Hall of Fame when it first started. We haven't been doing that lately. Been saving our taxpayer money, but we're recognizing the. And actually in here it says 32 years ago, but I think you skipped one year, didn't you? You skipped one of the banquets. So 32 years ago they were formed by Denny Hages and a few other notable people. So we've got all the inductees that are coming in. I'll just read them real quick. We got the 1982 Bay City Handy baseball team. Go Wildcats. Any handy people here? Class of 64. Bay City Western wrestling team. And, Nicole Bills-Golomb. Hope I don't mispronounce some names here. Eric Devendorf. Where's Eric? Eric probably doesn't remember me, but I ran a basketball tournament at St. Paul Gym a few years ago. We'll talk about that later on. And Chip Hages. Art Krawczyk. I think Art was a Federation baseball player back when. Bruce MacDonald, B.J. Talley. Got Mike Panasuk. Gary Vandemark and Michelle Williams-Hanna. We have Janet Beattie with the President's Award. And the scholarship winners, we have Iris Castilla from All Saints. Jenny Morris from Bay City Central. Corey Sharp from Pinconning. Lauren Walker from Garber. Autumn Simmer from Bay City Western. And Kayleen Darby from John Glenn. Might be a relative of Bob Darby maybe. So I better sit down because I don't want this to go too long, and they'll be giving me the sign back here with the time clock. I don't know if you noticed there's a time clock back there. So for anybody that's up here speaking, they'll be timing you. And they have a hook also. So thank you. Congratulations to everybody.
Thanks, Vaughn. Yeah, that's we got the shot clock here last year, so everybody has 8 minutes. If you go over 8 minutes, 220 volts right down here. You just get a little jolt, and we'll let you know you're going a little long. Or you might see a shepherd hook come over from each side. So, and then if you do go over 8 minutes, you got to answer to our president, Jen Thunberg. So, good luck with that. Right now, if we could get everybody to stand for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Also, if you could just please remain standing for our invocation, and our invocation will be given by one of our board members, Kathy Dardis. Please welcome Kathy.
Good and gracious Father, today we gather in honor and celebration to recognize the achievements of our inductees and scholarship recipients. They have worked to accomplish academic success, athletic strength, and have proven dedication in their sport. We ask they guide others and foster determination and commitment. Let us give thanks for our meal and to those who have done the preparation. We are blessed for the opportunity to celebrate. In your name we pray.
Okay, thank you. You can be seated, please. We have some special guests in the audience tonight that we would like to recognize, some of our past Hall of Fame inductees. If you could please hold your applause, if everybody would stand up when I mention your name and remain standing, and then we'll give this group a big round of applause. Tom Sullivan. Tom's right back over here to my left. Jeff Beisel, right next to him. Gary Stefaniak, right down here. Ed Harvey. Jeff Williams. Jeff's over there in the back. Bob Darby over here to my left. Mike Darby. It's going to be a family affair tonight with that Darby clan. Tom Krawczyk. Mike Gakin. It's all Mike. He's back in the back there. Kevin Fagan. Representing their father, Jack Spencer, Mike and Dave Spencer. I saw them there. They're back over there. Steve Goss is in the audience tonight where's Steve? Dan Snover. I know Dan's here. Jeff Hart. Where's Jeff? Where's Jeff here? All right. Anybody I missed? Anybody that I missed? Who am I missing, Mr. Sullivan? Oh, Charlie Rushow. Sorry, Charlie. Anybody else? Joe Today? Dr. Steve Hickner. I didn't see him sneak in. Anybody else? Dave Petrosky. Carl Briggs. Anybody else? I'm sorry if we missed you. One more. Who's that?
Ray Fick, 1972.
Ray Fick?
Yeah.
1972? Okay. Okay.
Fast pitch softball.
Fast pitch softball. Anybody else? How about a big round of applause for our past inductees? Okay, next up we will be introducing our scholarship winners. Each year the organization, the Hall of Fame, gives out 6 $750 scholarships to our Bay County athletes. And that's why you're buying all those 50-50 tickets, the raffle tickets. Well, that's what we try to raise money for, is those scholarships. So, unfortunately, our scholarship committee chairperson could not be here tonight. Mike Debo, he's a little under the weather, so I got picked to introduce the scholarship winners. So, if I could have all the scholarship winners up here in front of me, and we'll talk a little bit about you. So if they would come up, please, and give them a big round of applause. Are you missing somebody? Okay. All right. Again, it is my honor and my privilege to introduce you to the scholarship winners this year. They'll each be receiving a $750 scholarship from the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. Our first scholarship winner is from All Saints, and her name is Iris Castillo. Where's Iris? Raise your hand, please. There you are. Iris played volleyball and basketball for 4 years, played softball for 3 years, and tennis for 1 year. She's first team all-conference for volleyball and basketball, second team all-conference, and 2-time conference champion in basketball. She was on the Dream Team for basketball and the Detroit Free Press also for basketball. Second team all-conference for softball. Iris was the president of National Honor Society, vice president of the Yellow Ribbon, and president of Executive Student Board and maintained a 3.6 GPA. And Iris is currently attending CMU and majoring in sports psychology. So from All Saints, Iris Castilla. Our next scholarship winner is from Bay City Central, and her name is Jenna Morris. Jenna played volleyball and basketball and softball for 4 years. All-conference for, honorable mention all-conference for volleyball and basketball. First team all-conference, all-region, and all-district for softball. She was a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, and Link Crew, and maintained a 3.89 GPA. She is currently attending Lansing Community College, where she is also playing softball. Please, big hand for Central's Jenna Morris. Our next scholarship winner is from Garber, and her name is Lauren Walker. Lauren played volleyball, basketball, soccer, and track for 4 years. She was second team all-conference for basketball. Soccer was 2019 state runner-up team, two-time all-district, first team all-conference, and honorable mention all-state. She is long jump regional champ in 21 and fourth place long jump in the states in 21. Lauren was co-president of the Student Council, member of the National Honor Society, member of the Spanish Club, and Relay for Life. And Lauren maintained a 4.16 GPA. From Garber, Lauren Walker. Lauren, you and I had the same GPA. Took me 4 years to get it, though. Our next scholarship winner is from John Glenn, and her name is Kayleen Darby. Kayleen swam for 4 years, 3 years of tennis, and track for 1 year. Played #1 singles and was voted MVP. Two-time first team All-State in the 200 medley relay. Second team All-State in the 200 IM. Second team All-State in the 100 fly. First team and second team All-State in the 400 free relay in swimming. Kayleen was a member of the National Honor Society, represented a Student Senate class and secretary of Student Senate class, and maintained a 3.83 GPA. Kayleen is currently attending Saginaw Valley, and she is on the swim and dive team at Saginaw Valley State University. Our scholarship winner from John Glenn, Kayleen Darby. I don't think our lady from Pinconning is here, but I'm going to read it anyway because I think she deserves to let everybody know. Her name was from Pinconning, Victoria Sharp. She played basketball and golf for 4 years and track for 2 years. She was all-conference, all-county for 4 years in golf, Bay County champion for 3 years, and qualified for the state tournament in golf for 4 years. First team all-conference, and 2 years second team all-conference. She's also a member of National Honor Society, Student Council, Peer Mentors, and maintained a 3.0 GPA. She's currently attending Northwood and majoring in marketing and also playing golf. So from Pinconning, Victoria Sharp. Our final scholarship winner tonight is from Bay City Western, and her name is Autumn Simmer. Autumn played tennis and swam for 4 years. Autumn was MVP in swim her junior season and was named captain her senior season. She was a member of the National Honor Society, co-chair of Student Council, environmental club president, and peer-to-peer mentors, and maintained a 3.99 GPA. She is currently attending Wayne State and majoring in pre-law. So from Bay City Western, Autumn Simmer. Ladies, congratulations. We're very proud of you, and I think the future for us is in pretty good shape when you have these type of student athletes leading the way. So one more big hand for our scholarship winners. Thank you, ladies. Great job. Good luck. Okay, I think we're done with the first part of the show. I think it's time to eat. Right, Jen? So staff from the Doubletree will come to your table, release you to the buffets on each side. Enjoy your meal. We'll be back in about an hour and a half with the ceremony. So please enjoy. Thank you. Right now it gives me great honor and great privilege to introduce our president, who has been with us for over a decade and doing a great job trying to keep this board together and getting everything going, plus having a full-time job, full-time mom, and executive director of the Saginaw Valley League. She does just a tremendous job for this organization. If you would, please welcome Jen Thunberg, Bay County Sports Hall of Fame president.
Thank you, Mike. I thank everyone for being here tonight, and I know that we have people that are going around and they're selling raffle tickets and they're selling 50/50s. Please know that all of the money for that does go to fund our scholarships. We gave out $4,500 this year to graduates of our Bay County high schools, and we do that every year, and all of that comes from those drawings. So please, if you can support those scholarship funds tonight, we would appreciate that. I thank you all for being here because I'm very proud of this induction class. We've had some awesome classes that have come through our Hall of Fame. I think what I'm most proud about this class is just that I feel like we've hit everything. We've hit all the different sports, and we've got a good representation of all the things that are good here in Bay County. And we've got two great teams going in this year. I'm just very excited about the group of people that's here tonight. And each year we're striving, to put that next great class in. And so I just think this class represents everything that's good that's coming out of our area. And we just have a great athletic tradition here. And some of these people that we're putting in tonight, such as MacDonald and Talley, we're still honoring people from back in the 50s and the 60s, and that's what we're trying to do, is not forget about our great tradition that has been here for all of these years. So we thank you for those people for all being here tonight. It's a great class. I hope that you continue to stay involved. If you're not a lifetime member yet and you wonder why maybe somebody that you know that's deserving to be in here is not in our Hall of Fame yet, please become a lifetime member. You can become a lifetime member tonight for $30. Once again, that money goes to our scholarship fund. That's what all of the money that we make from these things goes to. And you get a chance to vote every single year. We will send a ballot right to your house, and you'll get to vote for who goes into the next class. And you're on that, and as much as I say that, lifetime membership. So as long as you're alive, you can go and vote for our new Hall of Fame class. So we thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to let Mike do all the introductions and talk about all of our great inductees tonight, but it's just great to have this turnout here. Thank you.
I forgot during the first part of the ceremony tonight to introduce the board. How could I forget those guys that I worked with for the last 12 months? And I'm going to have them stand and be recognized. And if you could hold your applause to the end, it would be appreciated. Of course, you just met our president, Jen Thunberg, who's back there. Our vice president, Dan McAvoy. Our secretary, Lee Thompson. Our treasurer, Ned Klinke. And other board members are Mike Debo, Sean Sullivan, Sean's over here selling tickets, Mike Dorr, Jocelyn Jamrog, and Kathy Dardis. So how about a big hand for the board members? Okay. I think we're ahead of schedule. I'll get you out of here at 10:30, the way it's looking. Always the first award of the night, we always give it to our it's a president's award, and it's actually from our president, and she recognizes people in our President Award that's really does some great things on the field, done some good things off the field, off the court, on the court, in the pool, outside the pool for our President Award winner. Our President Award winner for this year is the legendary diving coach, Janet Beattie. Oh, I got more. I got more. Oh, I got a lot more. Janet was leading the surge as a local diving coach for 43 years. In those years, she helped produce league, regional, and state champions, high school All-Americans, and college divers also. Janet loved coaching kids from the champions to the lower placing divers to the student athlete that wasn't sure about going out to the end of the diving board. 1977 grad of T.L. Handy was a state final qualifier. She recently joined the staff at Bay City Central alongside her daughter-in-law. Janet has a passion for coaching and shows through her kids. Janet is a mentor, a friend, and wants all of her divers to reach and attain their lofty goals. All the divers that Janet worked with understood what a tremendous opportunity they had working with Janet. She cares for her divers and loves going the extra mile for all of her divers. And one of her favorite sayings is, "You got this, buddy." Janet, you got this, buddy. Please welcome Janet Beattie, the 2022 President Award winner.
Well, this is pretty amazing. The last 5 or 6 months since I found out about this, and it was a total surprise to me. I really was shocked. I was shocked that night when I found out about it, and I'm still shocked today. Thank you, Mike, for those very kind words. I really am humbled by this award, and that the committee and the membership felt I should receive it. I am so very grateful. I'm not the outstanding athlete like those chosen, past and present. I am that person who loved my sport, studied, learned, and through the years was granted the absolute honor to work with amazing student athletes. They have made me look really good, really good. Diving is a sport that is very complicated, it's very subjective, and difficult to even sometimes understand, even to this day. But with that being said, these kids, these athletes, were mentally and physically strong. They pursued excellence every single day. There was a lot of times they didn't hear a lot of positive things, but every day they still came back and they still worked. They were able to achieve their goals. Some wanted to not move on and they just wanted to come back and help. And so I've had athletes that have come back and helped me coach, which is absolutely amazing. I am honored that some of them have moved on to college and maybe decided to dive in college. But my first question to them when they say they want to do that is, I don't care that you want to dive in college, I want to know what you want to study. Academics were huge for me. I have tonight here with me past and present divers. I have here tonight with me parents that got to experience just how hard it was. These kids had to come home every day complaining that Janet made them do 50 pike ups. They had to do all these sit-ups. Why is she making us do these squats? Who does she think she is? And they had to listen to all of that for years. And it was hard, and they watched the hard work their kids put in, but they were also able to see just what came out of it. I'm honored today to see my coach Bob Darby here tonight. He has lots of stories, but that's for, that was from 1973 to 1977, if you want to just kind of know how old either one of us are. He has stories, but those can wait for a day far, far in the future. My friends, I want to thank them for the solid support and the words they used and helped me through some of these long days that were orthodox and some were unorthodox. Finally, my family. I've had the honor to coach the current season with my daughter-in-law, Rennie, and in the past, my son, Matthew. Thank you both for staying interested in the sport of swimming and diving and supporting it in the community. They were actually the force that started Bay Aquatics diving, which really led to a great surge in the diving program in the area. And they always checked in with Mom to make sure how the kids were doing and what they were doing. Mom, my mom's here. Just saying thank you will never be enough. Never. Thank you for everything. I would like to end by saying coaching is a total passion. It is. Coaching this particular sport, this complicated sport, is a complete passion because one day is never the same as the other day. Diving is only one part of a swim meet. It's one event. But sometimes it does bring points to the meet that sometimes will win a meet for them and for the team. I used to work with two coaches that would tell me, if I produced the champion for the diving meet or for the championship meet that day and got them the points they wanted that they had figured out, I would get my salary doubled. I was a volunteer. Mike and Tony, can I have that raise now? Thank you. Thank you all so much, and thank you to the committee for this award.
And when she said she was surprised, she was surprised. I can still remember the look on your face, Janet, at Mode's Tavern when we did the announcement party, and you thought you were there to honor the 82 handy baseball team. I know it. I remember it very well. Okay, congratulations, Janet. Now, if we could we have all of our individual honorees, inductees come up and sit in front of your plaque, please. Okay, everybody, welcome. Congratulations. We're going to start the night off first with our first inductee for the Hall of Fame is good old Thunderfoot himself, Mike Panasuk from Bay City All Saints. I had the pleasure of watching this young man kick the football when I was coaching him at Bay City All Saints. And I guarantee you the sound made when he kicked the ball was incredible and really hard to describe. 5'11", 185-pounder, averaged 42 yards per punt as a two-time All-State punter. Mike was also a running back and a defensive back for Hall of Fame coach Jeff Beisel, who said he was the best kicker he ever saw. After high school, Mike attended Ferris State, where he set records for punting average. It had a 72-yarder in 1988, 6 field goals over 40 yards, including a 60-yarder. Mike goes on after college to play in the NFL with the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Falcons, but he also had time with Tampa Bay in the Arena League and the Canadian Football League and the XFL. Today, Mike is a 25-year veteran of teaching, theater, film, overseeing the yearbook, directing school plays, and also coaching football. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Panasuk to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Mike. I wanted to, first of all, thank the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame Committee for my nomination. It's an honor to be a part of this, and I want to congratulate the fellow inductees here. Reading your bios and stories, it's inspiring just to be part of the class here. So congratulations to all of us today. I want to thank a lot of my supporters, a lot of who are here today. I want to thank my wife, my daughter Audrey, my daughter Lexi, my brother-in-law Milt, and my niece Caitlin are here, my parents and my sister Kristen, for all their support over the years. My goal growing up was to play professional football. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid. From an early age, I just loved the game. That was introduced to me really by my father. I'd watch TV, I'd watch Billy Sims, Walter Payton, Eddie Murray. I'd go in the backyard, I'd pretend I was playing for the Lions, scoring a touchdown or making the game-winning field goal. I just loved sports. It was just a dream. I wanted to do that. I played football in the fall, I played basketball in the winter, I played baseball in the spring, golf and tennis in the summer. Sports is what I spent my time doing. I just loved it. I thank God first and foremost for the abilities that I have. I really wasn't probably the most talented person growing up. I just loved the game. I just loved playing. I loved to be part of it. I learned at an early age you have to work hard. You have to achieve. I got to set goals and achieve those, and that's what I tried to do. And those lessons are kind of on work ethic are central to what I do today. I'm not the smartest, most talented. I'm not the best coach. I'm not the best teacher. But I know that I tend to outwork people. That was what I did growing up. I could outwork other people and make up for a lack in some of those things. And pursuing those goals, that was my dream. I really want to thank my parents, because my parents, those are the people that support you no matter what. And it's really not support. I was thinking about this. It's support, but I think it's sacrifice mostly. The sacrifice parents make for their students, their family. I mean, that's why I'm here today. It's the sacrifice that my parents made that allowed me to do what I love to do, and their support over the years. So I want to thank you both for allowing me to do that and really become the man I am today. I'm blessed, and I wouldn't be here without both of you. So thank you. At All Saints, it was that was the time. High school is the time, those formative years at All Saints, where I grew up and had so many friends, and the camaraderie of team sports really formed me into who I am today. Playing football, basketball, tennis, track. Again, I wasn't the best at school, but sports kind of kept me engaged and kept me doing what I love to do. Sports teach a valuable lesson, especially football, and I was blessed to play, for some great high school coaches who are here today. Coach Beisel, who came in our senior year, and really just, we remember when I still remember, there are a lot of things you remember. I don't remember day-to-day things from sports, but you remember events that really formed you. And I remember Coach Beisel on that first day bringing us together. It was our senior year in '86. We're getting ready to kind of start summer practice. And just the way his enthusiasm and how he spoke and how he just knew the game, and you were just drawn to that. And we would do whatever we needed to, whatever he asked us to do, we would do. And I learned, that's the kind of coach I want to be. That's the kind of teacher I want to be. Someone who leads the team and does the best for each other. Coach Zanatti, Coach Sullivan, those coaches were instrumental in teaching me. I wouldn't be here without, those coaches. From Ferris State, went on to Ferris State. I had great coaches there, Coach Otterbein, Coach Pierce. I had some brief stints in NFL camps and around the leagues. And it really wasn't, those years of getting experience, I look back and those things were enjoyable. I got to meet some great people. I remember, meeting Joe Montana and Marcus Allen in Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer, Dan Reeves, Morton Anderson in Atlanta, Jason Elam, Nick Lowry. I played with John Elway in Denver, Mike Shanahan, and I got to finally play a season in the XFL, and then after 1 year they canceled the league. But it was, getting that opportunity and all those different things just to see, I was always like, what's God trying to teach me in these moments? It's not, maybe it wasn't all about just my one goal of becoming a professional athlete. There was more to life than that, and I think that's what that taught me. Today I look back on those things, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Sports formed me of who I am, but I stand here today with thinking those experiences, that journey is really the blessing that I have. So to all those people who were there with me, Coach Beisel, even Bob Darby's here. Bob Darby would catch punts in the summer for me, so thanks for doing that. Just the people that are my teammates from high school. I look at all the different levels, from college to NFL to XFL to CFL to all the different levels of professional football and football. It's the high school family that you remember. And I coach high school football now. We try to teach those kids. These are the people you're going to remember. 30 years from now, you're going to sit around and talk about your high school family, those players, those coaches. You may have other experiences, and those are great. But I don't sit around and think about, all the professional athletes that I met. I think about like the players we went to battle in high school, those 14 and 15 guys we had on the football team, and those coaches that, really sacrificed and, like was mentioned, volunteer basically to kind of come out and form young guys into men. And that was the challenge. And so I'm inspired by that. So that was my journey, and I'm just grateful to be recognized here tonight. It's an honor once again to be inducted in this the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. I'm humbled and blessed, and I thank you all for this honor.
Mike, congratulations. I thought I taught you how to drop kick too.
That's
didn't
right.
I taught you how to drop kick. Not too many people could drop kick, but we had a lot of fun watching him kick the football. Our next inductee for this evening is the legendary baseball coach, player from Pinconning, Art Krawczyk. Art was the head baseball coach at Penny for 15 seasons and turned that program into a powerhouse. Art cut his teeth in the Bay City South End under legendary Hall of Fame coach Russell Lefty Franz. When he took the program over, he turned it around, making the state finals in year number 2. With players like Rudrow and Dora, Krevinghouse, Lambert, and Filchek, you just could not go wrong. The Spartans went to the state championship game in 1971 and the Final Four in 1973 and 1979. Art stepped down in 1984 with a record of 182 and 138, including 4 districts, 3 regional titles, and 3 conference championships. Art played shortstop at age 14, and he was always around the field in the South End. He was a three-sport star at St. Stan's, where he earned many league honors in the parochial league. Art went on to Elma College, where he lettered in football and basketball. Art was inducted into the Michigan High School Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame in 2012, and he joins his brother Tom, who's with us tonight here at the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. Everybody, please welcome Art Krawczyk to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Thanks, Doug. I'd like to start out by just thanking the members of the Hall of Fame for giving me this honor this evening. I didn't write anything down. I didn't do a lot of stuff as this. It's just like in baseball too. You gotta play off the seat of your pants a little bit. The Tigers learn how to do that instead of sticking their nose. Maybe they could hit the ball once in a while. There's 3 things that can happen if you hit the ball. You either make it out, you get a hit, or you make the other team make an error. And there's a lot of errors in the major leagues today. So if you keep the ball moving, you're okay. That's one thing the Tigers got to learn. And that's what my boys did. They hit the ball. We got beat in the regional tournaments one year, 2-0. Guy threw a no-hitter against us, and we had 1 strikeout. We played in grass that was like a hayfield. It should have been harvested. Dan Ratajek, my freshman baseball coach, he's here. Should have had him come out and cut the grass over there, because it was growing there from about at least the Wednesday of the week before. We got rained out on a Saturday, and we played the following Monday. So and the grass was so hard, I couldn't hit it with a fungo bat to the infielders. They had to come in on the grass and play in on the grass. That was at Mount Morris. I think there was a little collusion between the baseball teams. Because I read the paper where this southpaw that pitched against us was a sinker ball pitcher, and that's what happened. We were hitting the ball into the dirt. I had a lot of experience with playing ball when I was younger. Started out when I was 12 years old in the Little League in Bay City. That was the first year they formed Little League over there. And my baseball team, Jensen Hardware, lost one game during the regular season, and I was the catcher. And guess what happened? I dropped the ball twice. We got beat 2-1. And the same guy knocked me over twice. And the ball come out. Well, after the ball game was over with, the umpire took me aside and said, "Hey, son," he said, "when you got the guy out by a mile," he says, "you don't have to fight him, especially when he's bigger than you are. Just let him run into the ball and get the hell out of the way." So that's one of the things that I would teach my catchers a little bit too, except for Steve Zunick. Steve was a pretty good sized guy. He liked to fight him. Well, I played with a lot of the guys that are in this Hall of Fame, probably about 12 of them, on the fast pitch softball teams and the baseball teams over the years. One year I was at Elma College. Joe Apple, who played at Central Michigan University, ended up being the coach at Mount Pleasant High School, would pick me up at Elma for early season games in Bay City here. We'd stop off at Vernon Springs and pick up another ball player, and then we come in and play in Bay City. That was in the early part of the season, when a number of the guys were away at college. We had Dick Searing and John Halstead from U of M that were playing for us. We had Art Trombley at U of D, Jerry Gross at U of D. Who else we had? But Bob MacDonald from Central Michigan. I mean, we had a lot of ball players there. Dick Brzezinski was our coach. And we had one heck of a team. We were all set to go in the tournaments down in Battle Creek for the Nationals. And MacDonald was our ace pitcher. He was a lefty, and he was a jump ball pitcher. Why the guys couldn't hit him, I could never understand. Because I was playing center field, and I could see that ball coming in there, and it just looked like a watermelon to me. But they couldn't hit him. And he wasn't fast. But when we got to tournament time, the game before that, we went down to Battle Creek. Bob was bunting the ball, and he got his fingers wrapped around that bat, and he tore off 2 fingernails from him at least, from his pitching head. So we had no pitcher. But I played on the championship Federation team, championship Little League team in Bay City. St. Stan's high school baseball teams were notorious for winning a lot of games. And I played with St. George's softball team 2 minutes there. Okay, and St. George's, we went down to the state finals in 1961, I know, because that's the year I got married, and in 61, we got back from honeymoon and played for the softball tournament. But in those years, I was playing at least 2 softball games a week and 2 baseball games. But we lived in United. We didn't have television set. Heck, there was only one in the neighborhood when television came out. We visited all of the Federation games that were played on Sundays. My dad would take all of us that wanted to go to the ball game. We'd even go down to Saginaw, behind Harry's bar over there, as you got into Saginaw, and watch my cousins play. My cousins played minor league, as did my brother and his son. But getting back to my teams there, I had something like 60 kids out for baseball between freshman, JV, and varsity. And Dan handled the freshmen, Ted Chapman handled the JVs, and they'd come out for the tournament time, and I could sit in the dugout and worry in the dugout. But we worked this program pretty good. Now, they said we went down 3 times in the first 10 years of the state tournament. Actually, we should have went 5 times. I had 2 other teams that the one I was talking about, the grass killing us. The other one was the weather. We played in a gale. The wind was blowing the dirt right in everybody's eyes. We got beat 1-0. And the team that beat us was Mount Pleasant. They went on to win the state championship that year. We had played game number 10, and he was playing game number 30. We didn't have a chance to make up a lot of games. But it was a nice experience coaching the kids. I had a lot of good kids. His very first year in 71 when we went down, there was 10 kids on that team that graduated from college. We had pharmacists, we had a priest, we had accountants. What else? We have a therapist. And these guys are still going strong. They had a couple of school teachers too. And they were a bunch of good kids. I'd like to thank my wife and my kids for putting up with me in those years, because I know I spent a lot of time away from home on those times. And I'd like to thank the committee and everybody here for these honors. Thank you again.
Thanks, Art. Great job. How much? 8, right on the button. If you think I'm going to say anything else, that ain't going to happen. Okay, our next inductees is that dynamic duo from Bay City Central, Bruce MacDonald and BJ Talley. Bay City Central Wolves were a tennis power in the 1950s, winning 7 Saginaw Valley League championships with MacDonald and Talley leading the way. They started their love of tennis at the Carroll Park tennis courts, which are still there today. And these neighbors spent a lot of time together hitting balls and playing in tournaments and traveling with each other's families. At Central, they were part of 3 league championships and each had regional single titles. In 1957, they teamed up and the goal was to win the state championship, shooting for that great Hamtramck High School tennis team. During the run of the championship, they defeated Birmingham and Owasso to reach the semis, never seeing Hamtramck, who was defeated by Jackson. They blew away Jackson 6-1, 6-3 in the semis and defeated Dearborn 6-1, 6-1 in the title match. No double team from Bay County has won a title since. After that state championship, they competed in many USTA events, and to this day, their rackets are not that far away. Also, I was told this morning that there was a bell, right, Lee, put up at the Jopke Courts over at the old Thomas Jefferson School on Park Avenue in their honor. And anytime anybody wins a match, they get to go over and ring that bell. So I'm thinking about going over there and waking the neighbors up one night about 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to ring the heck out of that bell. So if you would, please welcome Bruce MacDonald and BJ Talley to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm going to go first. I'm BJ. I'd like to recognize my family that's here tonight. My wife, Barbara, son Brian, daughter Kristen Slattery, my brother Webb, and his wife Wendy. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Lee Thompson of the Bay City Times, a member of this organization. He was very, very kind to us throughout the whole process. He was very responsive and very professional. I'd also like to recognize, and he's not here tonight, Jerry Jopke, who is a high school friend of mine and Bruce's, and he was the one that was instrumental in our filing the application with the committee. And Bruce and I used to walk to school together. We lived in Carroll Park. We lived the furthest away from Bay City Central, and we'd come down Park, turn right on 6, pick up Jerry Jopke and Bob Sams and a number of other people, and we'd always walk to school together. And so we want to recognize Jerry for all of his efforts. Now, the most important thing, I'm not up here to talk about me. I'm not up here to talk about Bruce. I'm up here to talk about our 1957 tennis team, because that's what it's all about. And that team consisted of Dennis Arnold, Doug Bruce, Kim Chapin, Chuck Crampton, Frank Hagelshaw, Dave Immerman, Tom Meisel, and Roy Walker. As we were working toward the state championship, Bruce and I historically had always been single players. Our coach, Zit Tesmer, decided in 1957 our goal for the team was to win the state Class A team championship. And the coach decided we were going to have our best opportunity if Bruce and I played doubles together, because he believed in us, and even though historically we weren't doubles players, we were singles players first. And one of the, back at that time, at the state championship level, if you were playing singles, every singles win you got 1 point. Every doubles win you got 1.5 points. And our goal was to beat Hamtramck. Hamtramck in the 1950s and on was always the best Class A team in the state. And our goal was to beat them. We had a good relationship with them. We used to play home and home matches. They'd come up here one season and play. We'd go down to Hamtramck and play. So in this particular year, fortunately, through the regionals, we were able to qualify 2 doubles teams. Bruce and myself, and the other doubles team was Tom Meisel and Chuck Crampton. So going to Kalamazoo with 2 doubles teams kind of set the tone for us. In the end, we fell 1 match short. Chuck Crampton and Tom Meisel, in the last match that they played, they lost in 3 sets, and it was 9-7 in the 3rd set. Had we won that match, we would have ended up, as it turned out, we would have tied Hamtramck. Instead, we came in 2nd place. Back in the 1950s, the tennis in Bay City was very, very big, and tennis at Bay City Central. Regardless of the fact that we only had 2 tennis courts, basically, and there were the 2 tennis courts in Carroll Park. But part of the success of the tennis program in the 1950s was due to the Bay City Times, because the Bay City Times sponsored every summer the Northeastern Michigan Tennis Championship. So it drew players from Flint all the way up north, to Cadillac. It was a big tournament at that time. So we want to recognize the Bay City Times for that. And without any further ado, on behalf of Bruce and myself, we'd like to thank all of the Hall of Fame members for this honor. We're very, very appreciative. Thank you. Since we left
They even brought a tennis ball with them that they forgot on the court. You know, I just looked at the program. I am not following the program schedule at all. So I apologize for that. This was the old schedule that I'm following, not the new schedule. So we're all out of whack, so we're going to have some fun anyway. I don't care. All right, our next inductee for tonight is the strong-willed, the daredevil, and that little stinker, as her mom called her, Nicole Bills. A 1996 graduate of Garber, she is the first gymnast as her primary sport to be inducted into the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame. After graduating, she took her awesome talent to CMU, qualifying for the NCAAs in 1999 and an invite to the World University Game trials. She was the first team All-MAC twice, second team once. She had 3 MAC titles, 2 NIT championships with CMU, and she was also inducted into the Central Michigan Sports Hall of Fame. Nicole was a dedicated and committed at getting better in the sport that kept getting harder and harder. With the dedication and commitment, Nicole would master new skills, making her stand out in a crowd. No matter what happened, she would pick herself up and bounce right back and dust herself off. Her strong will is helping her with her greatest challenge today in her battle with breast cancer. Nicole is living in North Carolina with her family and enduring many treatments and providing positive energy for others. Nicole could not be with us tonight. She's undergoing new treatments and facing challenges once again. And I know that all of us are praying for Nicole and wishing her nothing but the best for her and her family. Accepting the award for Nicole is our Old Bay Valley coach, Nancy Moore.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Moore. I was asked to be here tonight to accept this award on behalf of Nicole. I am Nicole's aunt, and also important to note, I was her club coach from the time she was a very young gymnast until the time she became a Division I scholarship student athlete at Central Michigan University. I will be reading Nicole's acceptance speech, hopefully in less than 8 minutes. Thank you all so much. I first would like to say how honored and blessed I feel to be recognized here today, and to all the people who voted for me to receive this recognition. I thank you for granting me this incredible award. I am sorry I can't be there in person to accept, but I'm so thankful that my aunt and former coach Nancy Moore could accept on my behalf. I was born into the sport of gymnastics. It was a way of life for me. There are very few early life memories I have that don't revolve around the sport, let alone take place in the gym. Growing up, my parents owned Bay Valley Gymnastics Club because they, along with several of my aunts, were my coaches at one time or another. It quickly became my second home. By the age of 2, I was taking dance and gymnastics classes. Although I don't think you can really call what I was doing at that time gymnastics. By the age of 7, I was competing and working towards my goal of going to the Olympics and becoming the next Mary Lou Retton. I quickly decided I wasn't really Mary Lou Retton material, so around the age of 12, I shifted my sights on something else, college gymnastics. For the next 6 years, throughout countless hours of sweat, tears at times, and I'm sure a little or a lot of complaining on my part, I trained with the goal in mind of becoming a college athlete. I spent 4+ hours every day after school training. My weekends were spent either at practice or at whatever gymnastics meet we had traveled to. To say my adolescent years were anything but unique would be an understatement. But it was all I knew and I loved it. My coaches pushed me to achieve some great successes in club gymnastics, and because of that I was able to move on to the next level of gymnastics. I remember the night that Jerry Rygard, head coach of CMU, called and extended me the opportunity to join the gymnastics team like it was yesterday. I was surprised, ecstatic, and intimidated all at the same time. I had heard through the gymnastics community that Jerry was a stern, tough coach who ran a pretty tight ship at Central. Despite my fears and apprehensions, I went to Central and found that I fit right in. The coaches demanded a lot out of us, but it was no more than what had been expected of me while preparing for college. I continued to learn skills and grew into a better gymnast than I could have ever imagined, thanks to the great foundation I went to college with. Throughout both my club and college gymnastics years, I was pushed to my limits, but never more. I was required to give 110% every day, but always ended with some sort of positive thoughts or feedback on the day's practice. I walked out of the gym after each practice feeling good because I knew I had left everything on the floor. Most importantly, I learned that through hard work, perseverance, sacrifice, and determination, you can push through and challenge and achieve your goals. Finding out I was being inducted into the Hall of Fame is a special honor that not many get to experience, and that is not lost on me. It should go without saying that to be inducted into the Hall of Fame is the ultimate honor that an athlete can receive. There are no words to describe the joy of experiencing this final chapter in my gymnastics career. Because for a sport where going to play professionally isn't an option, this is truly as good as it gets. It should also go without saying that one does not come to stand at this podium without guidance, the direction, and the love and support of others. To my fellow inductees, I couldn't be more honored to be a part of the class of such talented and extraordinary individuals. You are the best of your respective sports, and I feel so privileged to go through the experience with all of you. To the Bay County area, the Bay City Times, and all of its writers, thank you for always covering the successes of someone in a non-traditional sport. You made all of my accomplishments seem just as important as a high school football team making state finals or a big win by the women's softball team. I appreciate your willingness and commitment to supporting me and covering such a long period of time in my life. I hope my kids one day will look back at those articles and think about what a cool mom they had. To my parents, thank you for turning what started out as a tiny business on Farragut Street into something that would change my life forever. The never-ending, unconditional love and support you've always shown me will never be forgotten. It wasn't always easy having your parents own the gymnastics club you trained at. And even though there were times when I didn't necessarily agree with some of the decisions you made on my behalf, like foregoing my senior year spring break with friends in lieu of the gym hosting level 10 regionals, I'll never forget how much you sacrificed to allow me to achieve my goals. Thank you for pushing me to stick with the sport even when I didn't want to, and always being a constant source of encouragement and positive reinforcement. To my sister and brother, thank you for trekking to as many of my gymnastics meets as you did and not letting me be the center of attention at times. We middle children, and letting me be the center of attention at times, we middle children need that. It goes without saying that 5-hour gymnastics meets can be monotonous, and you attended more than your share. To my extended family, thank you for always being my #1 fans. I couldn't ask for a better support system to provide constant encouragement. Thank you for always being there to pick me up when I'm down and celebrate my successes with me. To every one of my former teammates, thank you for being a part of some of the most memorable, entertaining, and gratifying years of my life. Being part of teams with such special and talented girls was once a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I will never forget the highs and the lows we experienced together. Losing a big gymnastics meet, congratulating a teammate who made it to nationals, hours upon hours of sweaty workouts in the summer, trips to Cedar Point, sleepovers at the gym, the list goes on and on. We may not see each other very frequently, but when we do, it's just like old times. They are moments that could never be replaced and I'll cherish forever. The successes I had as an individual were great, but the successes we shared as teammates are what I look back and remember the most. To my college coaches, Jerry and Christine, thank you for giving me the opportunity of a lifetime. I'll never forget the days of you lying under the balance beam trying to break my focus or looking over at me meets and watching you pace back and forth with your eyes closed. You are more than just coaches, and I am incredibly grateful for the life lessons you have taught me. To my aunts, Nancy and Lisa, not everyone is lucky enough to have one of their aunts coach them. I was lucky enough to have two. Thank you for helping me realize my dreams of becoming a college athlete. You are the best of the best. I hope every athlete coming through the Bay Valley program realizes how lucky they are to have such dedicated coaches both on and off the mat. You instilled in me the importance of having a strong foundation and solid basics as a gymnast, something that I believe always set me apart from others. Because of that, you can learn any skill you desire. I never fully appreciated my ability to do straddle presses with ease or splits on both right and left legs until getting to college and seeing that many people struggle with that. Thank you for always instilling in me the importance of a good attitude and strong work ethic. Because of that, I've been able to get through all my life challenges. To my boys, thank you for giving me a purpose to keep pushing through the toughest days of days. You are the greatest blessings in my life, and I am so grateful I am so thankful I have been given the opportunity to be your mom. I so wish we could have made it in person so that you could see the strong, accomplished athlete your mama used to be. That's the funny thing about life. You never know what kind of crazy curveballs will be thrown your way. 2 years ago, I learned that my breast cancer had returned for a second time and was no longer curable. I'm sorry. I had some of the lowest of low points in my life since then. I wanted to crawl in a hole at times to escape this new reality. Living life with a terminal illness is like living on a never-ending mental roller coaster. The highs can be very high and the lows can be painfully low. I felt incredibly sorry for myself and most days have questioned why me. I've done a lot of reflection upon the course of the last couple of years and I finally came up with the answer, why me? Because I guess someone up there thinks I can handle it. I've been and continue to be pushed to my limits, but I've been equipped in life to handle it. I don't know if this honor would be so sweet if I had not been humbled so greatly through life experiences. I've truly been blessed in life. I've been fortunate enough to have some experiences and some successes that only a small % of people get to have. And I've been fortunate enough to be faced with disappointments in life that have allowed me to fully appreciate these special times. To most people, you'd never be able to tell there's anything wrong with me, but underneath the surface is someone trying desperately to hold it together each day and not let the cracks show. Thank you to everyone here today for celebrating such a high in me in this season of what seems like endless lows. And if you could find it in your hearts to add me to your prayers and thoughts for many years of success with the medical treatments available to me, I would greatly appreciate it. In order for there to be ups, there must be downs. Remember all your failures so when you succeed, you look back and have pride that you had strength enough to overcome anything. Today is definitely a success. Today is something I will be forever thankful for and cherish forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Please send our love to Nicole, and our thoughts and our prayers are also with her. Thank you. Our first team tonight that we're going to be honoring here for the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame is the 1982 Bay City Western Warrior Wrestling Team. Curry. Coached by legendary coach Clarence Pease, the Warriors would have a remarkable season. They finished state runner-up, and the achievements of this team saw 4 individuals among the top 7 with 2 second-place finishes and 1 state championship. Joe LaFrance boys led the way at state champs at 119 pounds with a 45-5 record. Ron Gorney at 145 and Brent Waldy at 155 had a combined record of 91-7, and Gary Micah took 7th place at 198, winning 38 matches that year. In 1982, the Coach Pease was his first year in 1982, taking over for legendary coach Doug Rudebush. The Warriors won the district as over Always Tough went Northern, while winning the regional trophy as well. They were edged out by 3 points in the team trophy by Always Tough Temperance Bedford. Please welcome Joe LaFrance boys, who will be speaking for the Warriors in the 1982 Bay City Western Warriors wrestling team. Yeah.
First of all, I'm from Arizona now, so it's a little cold here, so I better put on one of our sweatshirts here. First of all, I'd like to start off by congratulating everybody here tonight that's being honored. We didn't start back in 1982. We won, of course, second runner-up, but it didn't start there. It started in 1974. We had Mr. Tony LaFrance boys, Mr. Carl Briggs, packed a bunch of LaFrance boys and Briggs, being that we were from big families, in a van, and brought us down to Hazel Park. We drove down on a Friday night. We weighed in, and we were just a bunch of kids that we never practiced once. We basically said, come on boys, get in the van, we're gonna go weigh in. What are we doing? You're going to a wrestling meet, we have to weigh in the night before, and then we wrestle on a Saturday. So we packed all in a van, we head down to Hazel Park. We go down there and we actually competed very well. Well, we didn't have any uniforms. We basically wore the shoes that we wore out to play, dirty, grimy. We put on a pair of shorts, and we literally took white t-shirts and we wrote Western in black marker. We get down to this tournament, and all the individuals that we're wrestling against have wrestling shoes, they have singlets, they have coaches with uniforms, and we look like the Bad News Bears. And we walk in there and we absolutely dominate. We just a bunch of, I'm gonna say, farm boys, if that's the way you wanna be from up here. And it started from there. That was the first year. Year after year, all of a sudden we start getting some more familiar names in the Western wrestling programs, the Gorneys, the Waldys, the Briggs, the Rugensteins, the Rex Steiners. All that became part of a very strong tradition at Bay City Western. Doug Rudebush was brought up. That was the year 1973-74 when Bay City Western opened up. And we were very fortunate to have Doug Rudebush, that was at Bay City Handy, come over to Bay City Western to have a very successful wrestling team. And Mr. Rudebush left the year in 1982. Mr. Clarence Pease come in and took over the program. Very, very fortunate. As many of the other members have talked, it's not always about the head coach. It's about the volunteers that showed up. Mr. George LaFrance boys, another brother of mine. I had 7 older brothers. Who else we got here? I'm sorry. Mr. Bob Rugenstein, who's in attendance tonight. It was the volunteers that kept coming back year after year. They would graduate, go off to college, and they would still find the time to come back and volunteer and, as we call it, come up and kick our butts in practice. and it did nothing but make us better and better and better. Another individual I want to recognize tonight at the time was our athletic director, Mr. Marty Gottesman, who spent a lot of time. He was in every sport, but for some reason he sure loved the sport of wrestling, and he definitely spent a lot of time helping and making our program much, much better. As a wrestler, it's not go to practice for 5 weeks and like on basketball during the winter, you play a basketball game on Friday night, you go home, you got the weekend off. As wrestlers, being very disciplined, have to make the weight day in and day out. Friday nights were spent, and every night spent, not having dinner at night, trying to do homework after a strenuous 2.5 to 3 hour practice, losing weight, and very, very difficult. So we'd go home on Friday night, not eat dinner, have to worry about our weight, go to bed at 7, 8 o'clock, get up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and generally head down south because that's where all the competition was. We'd head down there 2.5, 3 hours every Saturday morning to compete. And that's just normal. That's just normal for a wrestler. And, you know, discipline, and if you don't learn discipline in any other sport, wrestling, you're going to learn it. I'd like to have all the guys come up that are here tonight. Come on up, guys. So we're pretty fortunate after being 40 years. Come on up. Don't be shy, guys. Get up here.
Get him on TV.
Mr. Brent Waldy, Second Estate. Mr. Ron Caney. Mr. Carson Randall. Mr. Gary Micah. Mr. Tom Sokoviak. Mr. Doug Rexsteiner. Mr. John Murray. Mr. Mark Stye. John Gower, I'm sorry, not Murray. Mr. Terry Olson. Mr. Tim Slakta. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Our next inductee is the old school hard-nosed softball coach from Garber High School, Chip Hages. Chip was a 1972 graduate of Garber and returned to Garber in 1978 to teach and coach. In '78, he took over a softball program, making it an elite program. His teams won 11 Tri-Valley Championship, including 7 district titles and 3 regional titles. His 1997 squad won 40-3, making it to the state title game. Coach Hages was also the 3-time Regional Coach of the Year and 4-time Softball Coaches Association Coach of the Year, and inducted into the Coaches Softball Hall of Fame in 1998. Many of his Chips players saw the tough, hard-driving coach on the field, but they also saw that mentor side of him off the field. He helped many of his players off the field, which they will never forget and will always be grateful. Everybody, please welcome softball coach Chip Hages to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
I think everything's been said already, so ditto. Is that quick enough? You're not going to get off that easy. It took me almost 70 years to get up here, so I think I'm going to enjoy the crap out of this. I feel honored, humbled, and I do have an attitude of gratitude tonight to be up here. And congrats to all the other inductees, past and present. I know you probably ate some of the same dirt. And we know what you have to go through to be excellent, to the level of excellence. And again, thanks for the people year in and year out that work without any recognition to put this thing on to keep sports, pertinent, which I think is very important. Thanks to all those people who made me what I am today. You know what they say, work hard and surround yourself with good people. And I had a chance to have a lot of good people come into my life. So, and that's why I'm up here, really. It's because of their support. My mom and dad, I wish could be here. but I know they'd be proud tonight, and they always were there for me, ups and downs. To my kids, Allie, Brad, and Tyler, thank you for allowing me to coach your teams. That took a lot of courage, really. And I look out in the audience, I see some of my coaches who set the bar awful high for us, you know, and they preached to hard work, and that's what I took up. And they were successful. They're Hall of Fame coaches, and I think they had a lot to do with who I am and the success I've had the privilege of having. And then, of course, 40 years of coaching, you're going to come across a lot of kids. And I tell you what, every single one of them was a privilege to be able to put their trust in me, to guide them, and to help them through some of the, you know, trials and tribulations that you're going to run into while you're playing athletics. Finally, thanks to all my assistant coaches, I had some good ones. I'd like to especially name Denny Gino. He's not here tonight, but he had a lot to do with my softball success also. My story actually started in the 50s. Barb and Wally Hages had 5 kids, 4 normal ones, and then me. Yeah, I was the example of hyperactivity, attention deficit. I was driving them crazy, you know, in other words. They got me out of the house and into sports. Finally, my extra energy was a good thing. My big brother Bertie came from Texas tonight, and he's out there, and he was a pitcher, so guess who was the catcher? And that started my sports career, really. I've always looked up to Bernie, and it motivated me to do the extra. And Bernie, guess what? Tonight I think I caught you. Competition between brothers never die, I don't think. And then there's my little brother Howard. He ain't so little, but between picking on him and teaching him tackle football in the living room and my mom's yelling at us to get outside, I started my coaching career. I take pride in being called coach. As a coach, you do a lot more than X and O's, as has been stated. You can help develop and influence kids' teamwork, you know, playing for something bigger than themselves, communication skills, leadership, self-esteem. Sports has a whole package, and if you can help kids develop those traits, not only are they going to be successful on the field, but they're going to have a much better shot of having a happier life. Teams are everywhere, you know, you have them in your family, you have them at work, you have them in your friendships, so being part of a team helps you in the future, because everyone's going to go through some tough times like Nicole tonight, and she has my prayers. Athletics has taught me that you're going to persevere and be tough and do things right, because bad things do happen, and how you react to them is what counts. Coaches and officials are needed at all levels, and if anybody out there, especially young kids, if you played a sport, you're qualified. And the opportunity to be in a position of leadership feels so good for me, and I think it would for you too. So if not, go out and referee a few games or take up Special Olympics or whatever. But get involved, you'll help some kids, there's no doubt. And with that, I'll say good night.
Yep, thank you. Great job. Thank you, Coach. Our next inductee for the evening is from Bay City Handy, and his name is Gary Vandemark. Gary was the longtime track and field coach for the Wildcat, taking over the program in the mid-1960s. Gary served as the boys track and field coach and the boys and girls cross country coach from 1964 to 1990. Coach Vandemark led the Wildcats to many championships. His boys cross country won 3 Saginaw Valley Championship, 5 Bay County Championships, and the boys track and field won 5 regional titles, 10 Bay County championships, and 3 White Pine Conference titles. Gary also coached individual state champs like Tom Levengood, Omaka Smith, Joe Garrett, and Jeff Box. Gary was a 1955 graduate of Unionville High School, was a 2-time state qualifier and a 4-year letter winner at CMU and 1 year with the Army ROTC. In 1990, Coach moved to Colorado and coached at Peyton High School, having the same great success at Peyton as he did at Handy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gary Vandemark to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
After living in Colorado for over 33 years, when Lee called me and said I was on the ballot for the Sports Hall of Fame, I was rather excited. And a few weeks later, he called and said that I had been selected for this honor, and I certainly want to thank all the members who remembered something about me and voted for me, so I can stand here and receive this honor today. I have a table full of family and friends over here that are also here, and I'd like to thank them for being here to support me tonight also. Well, after coaching track and field for over a half a century, I finally retired when COVID actually closed us down in 2021 out in Colorado. And I kind of reflected back, why the heck was I involved in this running thing for so long? And as I thought back, it probably started on a farm. I had a sibling close to 10 years older than me, so I was pretty much an only child, and I had to entertain myself a lot. Farms were separated, not many kids around. So I did an awful lot of running. I'd run down the lane to get the cows for milking. I'd run down the lane just to run down the lane and pretend I was in the Olympics. I developed a baseball game where I'd throw up a ball, hit it, run out and get it, come back, hit it again, run it. I wasn't any Forrest Gump, but I put a lot of miles in. I remember my first race. I was 10 years old. It was at a American Legion summer picnic at Caseville, and they had a race for 8 to 10-year-olds, and for some reason they had a race 10 to 12-year-olds. So I entered an 8 and 10 race and won that pretty easy, and they gave me a silver dollar afterwards, and I was getting a penny for every 5 potato bugs I picked off the potatoes. That's a lot of potato bugs. I thought that was a great deal. So the 10 to 12 came along, and I said, why not? So I went out and tried that, and I was lucky enough to win, and I got another silver dollar. So it was a great payday, I'll tell you, for a 10-year-old. It was wonderful. This was 1948, remember. A penny got you an awful lot. Well, I got to the point of, I'm sorry. We had a family emergency, a medical emergency today, and I sometimes haven't been thinking too well. In 1962, I was released from the Army. I had run in high school at Central Michigan. I was fortunate enough to run not in ROTC, but one of the years I was in active duty in the military. I was released in May, looking for a job. I came to Handy, a biology science teacher, and I was hoping to coach, no coaching positions. But in '63, an opening took place in track, and I was given the assistant track coach's position. And then in 1964-65 school year, some of you were around, they brought back sports that had been eliminated during one of the austerity programs. And I ended up getting the head track and cross-country coach, and so started my career. The previous coaches had tryouts, and then they would cut the team down to the people who they thought might score. I had an entirely different idea. I felt that every kid who came out for track should be able to finish the season no matter what the skill level, as long as they were improving. And I guess that was my goal forever. And in the first, I think about the second year, I had a freshman come out for cross country. Really not much talent, but he worked hard at it. And in the Saginaw Valley JV race at the end of the season, he was dead last. 4 years later, he's not only running on the varsity, he is the captain of the team. I was hoping, I had lunch with him on Friday. I was hoping he was going to be here tonight. But I felt justified. Okay, I'm doing the right thing. So I thought, okay, I'm doing okay. So a few years went by. I decided after the season, I offered anyone who wanted to come out, we'd have kind of a fun day. We'd do a few events. I guess I got some candy bars to give rewards or something. And I had a senior who was going to graduate in a few days come out. And he never had much success. The races I ran him in, he competed, he tried hard, but he just didn't have it. But during our little events, he long jumped 20 feet. That would have placed in every one of our meets. And I knew I failed him because he was a quiet type. He wasn't the type that said, hey, coach, I want to try this, I want to try that. He was just a quiet type. And so I had to do something for the rest of my time in this racket of trying to identify that person. And hopefully I was successful, I hope. Well, 27 years went by rather rapidly at Handy. We came to 1990, and we all know what happened. I either had to find a new school or I could take the early out retirement. With my military time, I had over 30 years. I chose the retirement, moved to Colorado, and hoping to teach and maybe coach. Teaching didn't turn out. There was too many of us out there in that great country looking for a job, and there weren't any. They weren't leaving. And so I ended up coaching, though, for 27 more years somehow. I haven't quite figured that out, but it was great. I would really like to thank the hundreds and hundreds of athletes I coached who trusted me to be their coach, and especially to those who have kept contact with me down through all these years and have made me a part of their life. Thank you to all of those also. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Congratulations. Thank you, Gary. Congratulations. Our next inductee is Michelle Williams-Hanna, the superstar volleyball player from Penn County. Michelle and her teammates turned the Spartans into a volleyball powerhouse. In 1988, they made it to the Final Four. In 1989, they went 62-7 and made it to the state finals. During her varsity year, she led the Spartans to an impressive 114-15 record, making All-State both years. After high school, Michelle took her talents to Northwood University. Michelle would become a star at her freshman year, and she brought next-level talent to the whole team at Northwood. Michelle helped Northwood to top 10 ratings in all of her seasons, and she was honorable mention All-American twice and first team her senior year in 1992. In that year, she was named District Player of the Year with 1,713 assists and had 5,523 in her career, both records which stand today. She is also a member of the Northwood Hall of Fame when she was inducted in 2008. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michelle Williams-Hanna to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch. So first, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee and members. It's an honor to be here. I see you Hall of Famers in the audience and the inductee class. Congratulations to all of you. Special shout out to Lee Thompson. Great articles on everybody in the class. Just, yes, yes, please. Yeah. You got who I was then and who I am now, so thank you. So if you guys would bear with me, I'm a little overwhelmed by the people that are with me today. So I'm going to put them on the spot and introduce them. I can't see the shot clock, so I'm going to get away with this. So first off, my parents, Jeff and Kathy Williams. If you just raise your hands, you don't have to stand up. Also, as you know, my dad is my high school and club coach, volleyball coach. My little brother, Jeff Williams. Yes, in high school it was Big Jeff, Little Jeff. My husband of 15 years loves and supports me and manages through all of the Glory Days stories. Yes, they happen still. A shout out, thank you. A shout out to Fritz Resner, who couldn't be here today, but the former sports information director at Northwood. A number of us worked for him, worked basketball games. He was able to celebrate with us last night. I'd like to move over to the other table. Kevin and Liz Fagan. My college coach is Kevin on the court, Liz off the court. They also flew in from Texas today and are flying back home tomorrow. Thank you guys for being here. My high school bestie and 50-50 ticket winner, who did come in from Florida. Thank you for being here. My college besties, Allie Coughlin-Sterkhauser, her husband Mike, Cindy Chobin Beerwagon, Shelley Des Moines Hunley, her daughter Carson, and Carson's boyfriend Chris. Thanks for being here, you guys. So I'm incredibly proud of, I can't read this really well, so it takes me a little bit. While I'm incredibly proud of my accomplishments, and this Hall of Fame honor is beyond cool, I certainly didn't get here by myself. This award actually recognizes the talent, well, the amazing talent that I played with and was coached by. This one is really for all of us because we were always better together. What I'm most proud of are that my friends and family are here, that my besties from 30 plus years ago are still my besties now. My coaches, integral to all of our volleyball successes, are here, with Kevin and Liz becoming family. And while you can't pick your family, well, Jerry and I picked each other because we're married. Mom, Dad, and Jeff, I would still pick you. Thank you.
Congratulations. I always wanted to use my phone to come up here, but I'm always afraid I'm going to do something real stupid with it. I know. I always would get my 4-year-old grandchild up here to help me with it. Our next inductee for the evening is that outstanding basketball player from Bay City Central, Eric Devendorf. Eric was obsessed with the game of basketball at an early age. Eric would take his basketball to school, and his classmates in 2nd and 3rd grade were in awe of him making 100 free throws in a row. Even during the worst of weather, he'd be working on his game and also worked on it while attending Washington Elementary and Handy Middle School. With Eric on the Wolves varsity, the team was the toast of the town. Eric's junior year, he averaged 29 per game, earned first team All-State, set school records for points in a game with 53, 529 for the season, and 1,224 for his career. Eric's senior year, he transferred to Oak Hill, where he helped the team win a national title, and he had All-American honors. After Oak Hill, he went on to play for Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, where he is the 14th on the all-time scoring list with 1,680 points, and number 3 on the list with 208 three-pointers. After college, Eric played in the NBA D-League in New Zealand, Australia, Turkey, Ukraine, Greece, frequent flyer miles. And in 2023, Eric launched ED23, a training program, an AAU organization that Eric gives back to the game that he so much loves. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Eric Devendorf to the Bay County Sports Hall of Fame.
Well, we're gonna put this communication degree to use. First off, I just want to say thank you to Lee Thompson. Lee has done an excellent job of covering me since I feel like 8 years old. Through the good and the bad, you know, he was always positive, man. So I just want to say thank you to Lee. Appreciate you, Lee. Second, I just want to congratulate all the inductees up here. You know, Lee, he called me and he was like, hey, this is a big deal, you know, and then, you know, I was like, yeah, I know. And then I got off the phone with him and I was kind of like letting it sink in a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, it is, you know, it is a big deal. Like, it's something to be proud of. And I think everybody up here, when they go home, they could rub it in their family's face a little bit, you know, so that's okay. But, and also I want to thank my family who's sitting right over here, my mom, my dad who's not with us today anymore, my sisters, my daughter, my oldest daughter, brother-in-law, niece, nephew. My mom even brought her book club friends over there. So, and then a family friend, Derek, he coached me at the Y when I was 7, 8 years old with my dad, and we were just talking about it before. They used to give him a hard time because me and his son were the only ones who would have the ball in our hands. So I think he got caught a little grief from parents about us being ball hogs, but I guess it worked out. A few things that I think that we all have in common up here, and I, you know, I was thinking about it. I was just sitting down. You know, sacrifice, commitment, discipline, consistency. Just a few words that come to mind. You know, sacrifice. You know, as a young kid, I sacrificed a lot. Like really a regular childhood. Missed all the parties. I didn't go to prom. You know, I remember waking up at 5:30 every morning before school, rain, sleet, or snow, chipping we had a little old ice chipper. I put that thing to use. But I was really obsessed with it. And to achieve anything great, we all know that sacrifices have to be made. You know, so from a young age, I didn't really know that I was sacrificing those things, so I just loved to do it. You know, I think a lot of times, you know, especially nowadays, you know, kids don't really love it. They love what comes with it. You know, they love, you know, shooting a three-pointer, getting a dunk, and then doing all that. You know, or getting, you know, you get the recognition after. You know, that didn't really matter to me. You know, I just loved to play basketball. You know, I carried that ball wherever I went. To and from school at lunchtime. You know, I remember one story I was in 5th grade, and I always used to write on the corner of my papers, basketball, NBA. In the corner, my teacher, 5th grade teacher, she's like, "What are you doing? You know, I got to put the grade there." I'm like, I'm just writing basketball. This is what I love to do. I'm gonna go play in college. I'm gonna go play for North Carolina. And she was like, "You got to be realistic." And I was like, I am being realistic. You know, and then fast forward, you know, to my senior year or to my junior year, you know, I could have went anywhere I wanted to go for college. You know, so thank you to my 5th grade teacher for that motivation. Yeah, Jude, yeah. But you know, commitment. You know, it's hard to commit at a young age to something and stick with it. It's you know, especially nowadays, there's so many distractions. Obviously back then we didn't have the TikTok and all that, but you know, it's hard to commit to something and stick with it, especially, you know, when, you know, you have your friends doing one thing, and sometimes you gotta tell them, oh, I can't do that. You know, I gotta get shots up. You know, I gotta get in the weight room. And that's something that I really prided myself on, is that hard work and that commitment. And that dedication. You know, so many times, you know, in the morning I heard my neighbor from across the street yelling outside, go back to bed. It's 5:30. I'm up though. You know, I'm up and I'm working. I remember going in the house one time telling my dad, and I was like, "Dad, they're yelling at me for, you know, going outside and shooting so early." And I just remember him saying, he said, "Don't you worry about it." He said, "You good." and that's all I needed to know. I was good. And you know, dedication, consistency, being able to do it, but do it every single day. Every single day. You know, how many times you've seen people, they go, you know, for months, for years, and then they stop. But they were just right there. They couldn't see it, but they were right there. If they would have kept going and kept going, they would have got there. You know, so consistency is huge with everything that we do. You know, it brings everything together. You know, so I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of all the support that I've had over the years, because like everyone said up here, you know, you can't do anything like this cannot happen just by doing it yourself. You have to have the support of a community, of your family, friends, and I've had that times 100. You know, people tell me, you can't do this. You from Bay City. Bay City's 35,000 people. We don't have people, you know, go to Division I schools and you know, play on TV and do that. You know, my support system, they always told me, just keep going, don't worry about that. And that helped me really continue to just keep going, keep working hard. And I was fortunate, you know, this basketball has, you know, took me all over the world. I've been to like 16, 17 different countries. You know, experienced a whole bunch of different cultures. You know, I got to make money playing basketball. You know, something that, you know, people dream about making money doing what they love to do. So, you know, if I step back and look at it from that perspective, I'm a lucky guy. I'm a real lucky guy. I never had a regular job, ever. Not MacDonald's growing up, not gas station. Never. I was always just basketball. You know, and basketball has opened so many doors for me. I've met so many great people. You know, being at Syracuse, coach under Jim Boeheim, and you know, I played under him, and I was lucky enough to be on staff with him. And at Oak Hill, Coach Smith, a Hall of Fame coach. So to be able to learn the game from those type of people, you know, at a Hall of Fame level, you know, it's indescribable. I'm just very humbled to be able to have experienced all those things and met all these people. So yeah, the timer's, I think it's about to be up. So, but again, I appreciate everyone here. I appreciate my family and my friends for coming and supporting. I appreciate the committee and everybody involved who voted. And I just want to say thank you.
Good job, Eric. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Okay, our final inductees of the evening is the 1982 Bay City Handy baseball team, Handy Wildcats of 1982. The 1982 Handy Wildcats had a tremendous season, racking up 30 wins against only 9 losses and making it all the way to the state finals. With only 2 seniors in the starting lineup, the Wildcats went through the 82 season like a bunch of seasoned veterans. They also had 4 Division I ball players on the squad and a veteran Hall of Fame coach named Dave Petrosky. Included in the win were district victories over Carroll Vassar All Saints and Saginaw Douglas MacArthur. In the regionals, they won the championship with wins over Flint Powers and Novi. Another win in the state semifinals over Muskegon Catholic Central. But unfortunately, the season ended against Southgate Aquinas with a 6-2 loss and a final and impressive 30-9 record. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1982 Bay City Handy Wildcats and their Hall of Fame head coach, Dave Petrosky.
Okay, first I'd like to congratulate all the new inductees to the Hall of Fame, and especially to Gary Vandemark. He was our athletic director at Handy High School when we were in this situation with these players. This Handy team was a pleasure to coach. We were very, very talented, and we were really young. They didn't believe anybody could beat them. And they proved that most of the time. And one thing that really stuck with me with this group is they had 100% parent backing, which was very important. Their parents were at every game, home and away, and they were always supporting their son. This team set a record winning 30 games. When Lee Thompson told me all this stuff, I told him that's 40 years ago. I can't remember really stuff that was yesterday. But we didn't play in a conference at that time because Handy was out of the Saginaw Valley. So we played the toughest competition we could play. We played Midland. Midland won the state championship in Class A, and we were a Class B school. So we took them to the cleaners a couple times during the year. The thing I remember about this group the most, they were hardworking, they were excellent hitting team, excellent defensive team, for a team that didn't even have a field to practice on. We were at the mercy of Bay County sports because Central, Handy, and All Saints all used Vets Park, which was at that time about the only baseball field that was available. So these guys took a lot of bounces and hits off the football field at Handy. I want to introduce each one of these guys. First of all, I want to introduce Chris Cubey. Chris was a volunteer assistant. Chris played for me in the first year I was in Bay City. And he went to school, come back, and he hung around. He helped me in baseball, basketball. He was there every day as a volunteer. And it was unbelievable assistance that he gave me. And also to one of his buddies that had passed away, Jerry Pryor. He was around a lot too. And he was a very positive person, and he coached a lot of these guys in summer ball. Next we have Andy Lampkin. Andy was a power hitter. He could play, and he hit the ball a ton. And he was really a good ball player. He was an infielder, and he also pitched some for us. Next we have Dan Snover. We're lucky we had his dad was a sports writer. At the times he gave us some good recognition too. So, but Dan, as a senior, this is almost unbelievable in high school ball. As a senior, Dan batted, I think it was 115 times and never struck out one time in all that time. Next we have Gary Fick. Gary was also a big hitter. He could hit that ball hard. He was a good infielder, and he played very hard for us. Next we have Don Beeson. Don could tell you the best stories that you ever wanted to hear. But also Don almost killed me in a batting cage. I was pitching batting practice upstairs in the upper gym in Handy. He hit a line drive, and I was stupid to pitch without a cage in front of me. He hit me with a line drive right in the stomach, and I had the ball threads in my stomach for about 2 weeks. Next we have Paul Ouellette. Paul was one of the two seniors that played a lot for us in that year, and he was a very strong left-handed hitter who could hit the ball a ton, and we really appreciate his act. The next, Brian Batchgalupo. Brian played in the outfield for us, and Brian was a very good fire plug. He was very good attitude, kept everything going, and played real well for us. We have some guys that are not here tonight I want to mention that had a big part of our team. Scott Jasinski could not make it tonight. Art Kaiser, Wayne LePan, Mike Lechner, John Rao, Mike Reitzel, who was an outstanding pitcher, and Owen Sullivan, who was I think he was killed in an automobile or a motorcycle accident. So, but this is the group that set the records for Handy, because basically Handy baseball, we would take anybody on. We didn't care who we played, but we thought we could beat anybody we played. So this group I really want to congratulate, because they did an excellent job, and they were a great group. One of the nicest things I think about this is I look at these guys, and every one of them are successful now after they're out of high school. They all have done very well for themselves, and this is one of the things you think about when you're coaching. You want the players to come out of school and be successful, and I think these guys are all successful. Thank you very much. We appreciate the honor.
Yeah, Coach. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. If you go see Lee, he's got certificates and glasses for you also, for your Diet Coke. Diet Pepsi. One more announcement. I would be remiss if didn't mention this. Bay County TV is here tonight, taping it, so it'll be on Charter Spectrum Channel 190 next week, and on their YouTube channel also. So if you want to watch a replay of it, you're more than welcome. But if I could ask everybody to stand up and let's give our teams, our President Award winner, and our inductees one more standing ovation.